All right. Welcome back to Kamen Review, episode number 72. This time I'm discussing 5 episodes of Kamen Rider Skyrider, episodes 31 to 35. I was originally planning on stopping at 34, but 34 is actually part 1 of a two-parter. That's the only reason why I'm doing 5. Yep, 31, 32. Excuse me. It is a two-parter where you have Skyrider team up with Kamen Rider X. Yep. And what is the plot of these 2 episodes? Well, it involves basically a jaguar and this other creature here to, let's just say, to do something. I don't remember what it was because let me take a look here. I know it's two-part featuring them per se. By the way, 34 is the debut of a brand new character, Gongonji. Yep, Gongonji. Yeah, he makes his debut in episode 34. He is a comedy character who pops up in episode 34 and kind of fights Mental Con in episode 34 and 35. Yeah, it's kind of weird, the fact that we actually had them here, but okay. Yes. Golden Jaguar is like an honorable guy, but he was defeated by Skyrider with his kick. And the whole thing, I remember now, basically gathering slaves to build for a temple, including some kids. They love kidnapping kids. And looking out, the X is there. Now, X is not going to make his transformation his first one until the end of the episode. But I do like the fact they brought back X first. It's kind of a strange order how they bring in the Kamen Riders to this one. They only bring in 3 and 5 episodes. In 32, it's X. For 33, it's Rider Man. Excuse me, for 33, 34, it's, of all people, V3, which is interesting to say the least. Now, Rider Man involves basically a rat monster who wants to bring gas in the sewer system, who apparently he was chasing in New York City, of all places. Yep, and by the way, the other two, one came from the Sahara, that's Golden Jaguar, and the other one came from Mongolia. Yeah, he's a weird one. He's actually the first monster of the series to not be destroyed by the Skyrider. Yeah, he's actually destroyed by one of the previous Kamen Riders, which is interesting to say the least. Yeah, because normally when it comes to these normal series like this, a lot of the time, the monsters of these series are normally defeated by the main Kamen Rider. This is the first of 2 times here we have the monster of the episode defeated by, well, a previous Kamen Rider. Not the current one, a previous one. Yep. In the case of now, in case you're curious though, the only one we see kind of the full transformation is Rider Man. We see his X. It's like he does this little hand motion thing and he just puts the thing on and that's it. It's like they pretty much rushed his transformation sequence for some reason. I don't know why. It's weird. Yep. I mean, I still enjoy looking at the Kamen X suit. And by the way, in case you're curious though, does he still takes out his Rider stick and does the X thing? Yes, he actually does that these 2 episodes. It kind of feels as though with the X episodes is that it feels a little bit like something they took some writing from Kamen Rider X, basically an old script, and just basically mixed it in with Skyrider. Rider Man, basically, he of course, if anybody has forgotten about this guy, he is from V3. And you're thinking, wait, he's the 4th Kamen Rider and he never had his own series? That is indeed true. He never had one. He showed up toward the last, about the last 10 episodes of Kamen Rider V3, before apparently getting killed off in the penultimate episode of the entire series. And here's the strange thing, though. Unlike V3, who has appeared several times since the end of his own series, Rider Man has only appeared at this point in time Believe it or not, this is only his, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is only his 5th appearance since V3 ended. I'm not kidding about that. Yeah, but he actually last showed up way back in episode 28. It had been not that very long since his last appearance. I think the weird thing about Rider Man is he's the only one not to have the Rider kick. Yeah, you never see him actually defeat any regular bad guys. He was more like he's like V3's like partner. He's like kind of like a psychic mostly, but excuse me, the guy can hold his own in this fight. And you might be curious though, is defeated by V3? No, he's defeated by a freaking moonsault, not by a kick, a moonsault. In the case 34-35, this one's kind of weird, where they have 2 monsters, once again because of course 2 Kamen Riders. Well, first one's called Mantle Kong, and of course has Tongo Gong. Yeah, how they introduce V3 is quite interesting. It's like he shows up halfway through the episode. Apparently he's hiding in a hut for reasons. And the one thing I've always questioned, now in the case of, well, X, it looks like he wears normal clothing. Unlike in the case of V3, he looks like he's wearing a red button-up shirt with an ascot. And he always wears gloves. Yeah, and here's the thing. It seems like of all the Kamen Riders, it seems like he's the tallest Kamen Rider. I would say the only one who's about the same height he is Rider Man, though he seems a bit shorter. Yeah, I don't know why this is. Like, he's taller than his freaking predecessors. The double Kamen Riders. At least the twin Kamen Riders. Yeah, he's taller than them. But in the case of the successors, he's always taller than them. Like, in this episode, he towers over Skyrider. And it seems like, though, the bad guys have a lot of respect for V3. Probably because he defeated Destron. Yeah, he defeated the leader by himself. He didn't have help. Yeah, he actually defeated the leader of Destron, who for some reason dressed exactly like the Great Leader Shocker, except his outfit was black this time, and underneath the outfit was a freaking skeleton. And it was kind of the same thing in the case of X. X had probably the most disappointing bad guy, but in the case of Amber Demon, he seems like a very interesting villain. And the other one is Octagon. He doesn't really do very much. It's more like Mental Con. He does a lot more work in these 2 episodes than the other one does. It's almost like, what was the point including an Octagon? And by the way, he apparently is an octopus whose head basically is deflated the whole time. Yeah, the top part of his head, if you think of an octopus, it's always deflated. It may be a defect of the costume the actor is wearing. It's possible. But Hades, of course, is defeated by Skyrider. Mental Kong is not defeated by Skyrider. He's second monster, not defeated by the main Kamen Rider. He is defeated by V3. Probably the first monster he's killed who's not a resurrected monster since the end of his series. Which, that's interesting, the fact that, because usually we see him beat monsters after his series ended. Usually it's resurrected monsters, not basically monsters who are still active. Yeah. But I do enjoy these episodes, and as of right now, I have only 19 episodes left to go for Skyrider. And I'm thinking probably by this weekend, at that point, I'll be capping this one off and moving on to my next series, which will be the last Show Era series for Super Sentai, Changeman. Yes. Now, when I get to the end of Skyrider, I will unveil what I'm going to do next. You still have to wait until I'm finished with Skyrider to find out, because this is something that I do want to do. It's shorter than Skyrider, thank God. Excuse me, but I figured though this would be perfect to do next, but you'll find out and see. Though some people might think it's obvious, like, you're doing this one next. You'll find out and see. Okay, so that's a particular view. Next up, I'm going to do a couple comic corners, and then I'm going to go straight to Is It Wrong to Girls Dungeon? Yes, the series came back a couple days ago, so I figured, why not watch it? Yes. And in case you're curious, though, about that one, well, I'll talk more about that one when I get to it, because I don't want to basically talk more about it right here. Because this is Kamen Rider, not Is It Wrong to Girls Dungeon. All right, so next video is going to be the first of 2 comic corners. Okay, next video. Bye.